Have you ever stood in front of your fridge, opened the door, spotted that block of cheese, and thought, well, this has to be a safe snack, right? It's just cheese. I mean, it's not candy. It's not fast food. It feels kind of wholesome. So you grab a slice. Maybe two. Maybe more. But later, your stomach feels off. Your joints ache just a little more than usual. You check your blood pressure and think, hey, that's a bit higher than I remember. Sound familiar? You're not alone. So many of us, especially as we get older, start reaching for comfort foods. Foods that feel familiar. Foods we've loved since we were young. And cheese? Oh, it's one of the most comforting of them all. Creamy, salty, savory, melty, it's hard to resist. But here's the truth most people won't tell you: some cheeses can quietly hurt you. Not all at once. Not in a dramatic way. But slowly, gently, they can chip away at your health. Your heart. Your joints. Even your mind. And the worst part? Most folks have no idea it's happening until something serious forces them to pay attention. But there's good news, too. Not all cheese is the enemy. In fact, some cheeses? They can support your aging body. They can boost your energy, ease your digestion, and help protect your bones and brain. You just have to know which ones to pick and which ones to toss. So today, we're diving deep. I'm going to share 5 cheeses you should absolutely be eating if you're over 60. And 5 cheeses you should never touch again, no matter how much you think you love them. Some of these are going to surprise you. One of the worst offenders is hiding in nearly every kitchen across America, and chances are, it's in your fridge right now. So if you're serious about protecting your health, if you want to keep enjoying your favorite meals without sacrificing your well-being, you need to watch this video till the very end. Speech balloon and hay. If cheese is part of your weekly routine, drop a wedge of cheese in the comments right now. Let me know you're here. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button to join our warm and growing family here at Elders Wisdom Institute, where we talk real talk about aging with dignity, joy, and strength. Alright, you ready to find out which cheeses heal and which ones harm? Let's get into it. Small Blue Diamond, first up on the must-eat list, is one you might have overlooked for years. It's soft, it's light, and it's often tucked away in a quiet corner of the dairy section. Cottage cheese. Now before you click away thinking, ooh, that bland, mushy stuff. Hang on a second. Let me tell you a story about someone named Margaret. Margaret's in her 70s. Still sharp as ever, still active in her garden, but lately, she noticed something strange. After breakfast, she'd feel drained. Not just sleepy, but sluggish. Like her body was working harder than it should, just to get through the morning. She tried switching cereals. Tried lighter meals. Cut back on coffee. Nothing helped. Then one day, her granddaughter, who happens to be a dietitian, suggested a simple change: swap your usual toast and butter for a bowl of cottage cheese with berries and a sprinkle of cinnamon. Margaret wasn't thrilled at first. "Isn't that hospital food?" she said. But she tried it anyway. And within a week, she started feeling the difference. That mid-morning crash? Gone. Her digestion? Better. Her energy? Steady, calm, sustainable. Here's why. Cottage cheese is packed with high-quality protein, and as you age, protein becomes absolutely essential to maintain muscle strength, support healing, and keep your metabolism running smoothly. It's also low in fat and full of vitamin B12, which your brain and nervous system desperately need. And let's not forget the calcium. Strong bones don't just happen by accident. But here's the thing most people get wrong: they avoid cottage cheese because they think it's bland, tasteless, boring, And honestly, if you're eating it plain and cold from the tub, I get it. But you've got options. Mix in some blueberries. Add a dash of cinnamon or honey. Top it with sliced banana, chia seeds, or even some walnuts if you're feeling fancy. You can make it sweet. You can make it savory. You can even blend it into smoothies or use it as a spread on whole grain toast. Cottage cheese isn't just a cheese, it's a nutrient powerhouse in disguise. And when your body's changing, when your digestion is slower, when your muscles need more care, when your bones need backup, cottage cheese quietly does the work. So, before you pass it up next time you're grocery shopping, give it another chance. Your body just might thank you. Now, that's one cheese your aging body will love. But the next one on our list? It's the kind you should never, ever touch again. Let's talk about it. Small blue diamond, let's talk about processed cheese slices. You know the ones I mean. Those neat little squares, wrapped in plastic, stacked up like they belong on every sandwich or burger. Bright yellow. Always the same size. Convenient? Absolutely. But safe for seniors? Not even close. Let me tell you about George. George is 76. Retired mechanic. Lived a simple life. Every morning, he'd toast 2 slices of bread, slap on a slice of that processed cheese, and call it breakfast. Fast, easy, cheap. He figured, it's cheese. It's not fried. Can't be that bad, right? But over the months, George started noticing something wasn't right. His ankles would swell by midday. He felt more winded than usual walking from the garage to the porch. And his doctor noticed something too, his sodium levels were through the roof. Not just a little high, dangerously high. The culprit? Those so-called cheese slices. See, processed cheese slices are not real cheese. They're often labeled as cheese food or cheese product, which should be your first warning. They're loaded with preservatives, emulsifiers, artificial colors, and excessive salt. A single slice can have up to 400 milligrams of sodium, and many folks use 2 or 3 at a time. That adds up fast, especially if you're watching your blood pressure, your heart, or your kidneys. And here's the part that frustrates me most, they look like cheese. They melt like cheese. But they're nothing like the real thing. And yet, so many people, especially older adults, keep buying them because they're affordable, familiar, and everywhere. But the price you pay at the checkout line isn't the real cost. The real cost is what it does to your body over time. If you're looking at a label and it says anything other than 100% real cheese, put it back. If it says cheese product, cheese food, or it lists 20 ingredients you can't pronounce, that's not food. That's a science experiment, and your body deserves better. So here's a simple rule, if it comes wrapped in plastic and it doesn't look like it came from a block, it's not your friend. George made the switch. He started using real cheddar, thinly sliced, just enough for flavor. His sodium levels dropped. His energy came back. And he's still enjoying his morning toast. Just without the artificial baggage. So don't be fooled by convenience. Your heart, your kidneys, and your future self will thank you. And now, let's turn things around again. Small blue diamond, let's talk about part skim mozzarella. Yep, the stretchy, creamy one you usually find on pizza. But hold on, don't tune out just yet. Because what you don't know about mozzarella might just make it one of your best friends as you age. Let me tell you about Susan. She's 68. Retired teacher. Always loved food, but over the past few years, meals started feeling heavy. You know that bloated, uncomfortable feeling you get after eating? That pressure in the belly that makes you want to lie down after lunch? That was her, almost every day. She cut out fried foods, avoided carbonated drinks, even skipped dessert. Still, the bloating stayed. Then one day, she tried something simple. Instead of a heavy lunch, she started making little caprese salads. Just fresh tomatoes, basil, olive oil, and a few thin slices of part-skim mozzarella. No stress. No grease. No guilt. Within a week, she noticed the difference. The bloating? Gone. The sluggishness? Eased up. And more importantly, she felt light and satisfied. Now, why does this matter? Because part-skim mozzarella is one of the most gut-friendly cheeses out there. It's lower in fat, lower in sodium, and naturally easier on your digestive system. That means no belly bombs, no bathroom troubles, and no that nap isn't optional feeling afterward. But here's the twist, most people think mozzarella is only for pizza. And yes, it melts beautifully. But don't box it in like that. Slice it and add it to a whole grain wrap. Toss it into roasted veggies. Layer it with grilled eggplant or zucchini. You can even cube it up and add it to a salad with spinach and olives. What you're getting isn't just flavor, it's fuel. Mozzarella is rich in calcium, which supports your bones. And when you're past 60, bone strength becomes non-negotiable. It also contains protein and probiotics that help your gut stay balanced and your muscles stay strong. So don't let the pizza aisle define mozzarella. Think of it as a gentle, versatile ally in your kitchen. And remember, it's all about portion and purpose. A little bit goes a long way, especially when you're pairing it with whole, colorful foods. Susan still enjoys her caprese lunches, and now she has more energy to walk, garden, and keep up with her grandkids. That's the kind of impact real food can have. So give mozzarella another look. Not the over-processed, greasy kind dripping off takeout boxes, but the clean, part-skim version that supports your health without weighing you down. And speaking of cheese that weighs you down, let's move on to one you definitely want to steer clear of. It might surprise you, because it's often sold as gourmet. Ready for it? Small blue diamond, let's talk about blue cheese. Now, I know. Some folks love it. They'll tell you it has a bold flavor, that it's a delicacy. They crumble it on salads, spread it on crackers, even mix it into dressings like it's a health food. But for seniors, especially those with sensitive stomachs or a compromised immune system, blue cheese can quietly become a health hazard. Let me introduce you to Harold. Harold, 72. Former football coach. Strong guy, still walks every morning. But in the last few months, he'd started experiencing strange digestion issues. Bloating. Nausea. Sometimes even a mild fever after meals. Doctors ran tests. Everything looked mostly normal. Then one day, his wife pointed something out. You know, you've been adding blue cheese to almost every salad lately, right? He hadn't noticed. But he had. Turns out, that fancy little sprinkle on top of his greens was causing more trouble than it was worth. Here's why. Blue cheese is made with live mold cultures, the veins you see running through it. That's mold. And while some molds are safe for the average person, as we age, our immune systems naturally become less robust. That means the same food you tolerated at 40 might suddenly cause trouble at 70. For someone like Harold, who had a slightly weakened immune system and mild gut sensitivity, that mold wasn't just extra flavor. It was a trigger. Irritating his digestion, setting off inflammation, and stressing his system after every bite. And that's not the only problem. Blue cheese is also very high in sodium, even higher than many processed cheeses. Which makes it a risky choice for anyone managing high blood pressure, heart issues, or kidney problems. But here's the kicker, most people think, well, it's gourmet, it must be good for you. We associate fancy with healthy. But in this case, that assumption can backfire. Just because something is aged, expensive, or served in upscale restaurants doesn't mean it's right for your body. Not now. Not anymore. So what's the better choice? If you love that rich, tangy bite, try herbed goat cheese instead. It's creamy, flavorful, and much easier to digest. Or go with feta, especially if it's made from sheep or goat milk. It's lower in lactose and still gives you that bold, salty punch. You don't have to give up flavor. You just have to make a wiser swap. Harold made the switch. Same salads, just a different cheese. And guess what? No more digestive flare-ups. No more discomfort. Just good food and better days. So if you've been holding on to blue cheese thinking it's a small indulgence, take a second look. Your gut, your immune system, and your peace of mind deserve better. Now, let's bring the mood back up, because next, we're going into a cheese that's surprisingly gentle, delicious, and absolutely worth including in your regular meals. Small blue diamond, let's talk about ricotta cheese. You might not immediately think of ricotta when you think of a must-eat cheese, but trust me, it deserves a spot in your kitchen. It's soft, creamy, and easy to work with. And here's the best part, it's perfect for seniors who want to maintain their health without feeling weighed down. Let me tell you about Linda. Linda's 70, and for years, she loved her pasta. But as she got older, she noticed that after a big plate of spaghetti or lasagna, she'd feel off. Full, but not in a good way. Bloated. Heavy. A little sluggish. She was starting to dread her favorite meals. But then, one day, she stumbled across a tip from a nutritionist: substitute ricotta for the heavier cheeses in her pasta dishes. She decided to give it a try. And the next time she made lasagna, she swapped out the usual mozzarella and cheddar for a generous layer of ricotta. The result? A meal that didn't weigh her down. No more bloating. No more after-dinner slump. Just pure satisfaction. She even started adding it to toast, blending it into smoothies, and using it in her favorite breakfast dishes. And you know what? She felt lighter. She had more energy. And most importantly, she didn't have to give up the food she loved. So, why does ricotta work so well for seniors? First off, ricotta is gentle on your digestion. Unlike some harder cheeses, which can be more difficult for older systems to break down, ricotta is smooth, soft, and easy to digest. That makes it perfect for anyone dealing with sensitive stomachs or slower digestion. And then, there's the nutrition. Ricotta is packed with whey protein, which is fantastic for maintaining muscle mass, especially as we age. It also contains calcium, essential for keeping bones strong and healthy. With more easily digestible proteins and vital minerals, ricotta supports both your body's muscles and bones without causing any digestive discomfort. But here's where people often go wrong. They see a soft cheese like ricotta and assume it's unhealthy. They think, it's too creamy, too rich, it's got to be full of fat and empty calories. That's a common misconception. Ricotta is actually lower in fat than many other soft cheeses. It's also lower in sodium compared to things like processed cheese. So, it's a healthy alternative for anyone looking to enjoy cheese without the guilt. The beauty of ricotta is its versatility. Don't just think of it as a filling for lasagna or a spread for crackers. Use it on your morning toast for a protein-packed breakfast. Mix it into smoothies for a creamy texture. Or blend it into a pasta dish for a lighter, more nutrient-rich meal. Linda doesn't just use ricotta in her lasagna anymore. She's found new ways to enjoy it without sacrificing flavor or health. Now, if you haven't already made the switch to ricotta, or if it's just something you've never thought to try, it's time. It's simple, it's nutritious, and it'll make a world of difference in how your body feels after meals. So, if you want to enjoy comfort food without the aftermath of bloating or sluggishness, start adding ricotta to your meals today. Trust me, your body will thank you. And now, we've covered some cheeses that'll keep you feeling great, and some that should be left behind. But before we wrap up, I want to know your thoughts. Which cheeses do you love? Which ones have you swapped out for healthier options? Drop your experiences in the comments below, and let's keep this conversation going. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the Elders Wisdom Institute. We've got more healthy aging tips and nutrition advice just for you. Small blue diamond cheese spreads and jars. I know you've seen them in the grocery store, those little jars of cheese dip or creamy spreads. They're bright, convenient, and marketed as the perfect snack for parties, crackers, or even just for dipping. But trust me, they're not as innocent as they seem. Let me tell you about Dorothy. Dorothy's 75, and she's a lifelong lover of cheese. She used to keep a jar of her favorite cheese spread on hand, always ready for a quick snack or an easy dip for veggies. For years, it was her go-to afternoon treat. A scoop here, a scoop there, and she'd pair it with a few slices of bread or a handful of crackers. But then, Dorothy started noticing something odd. She'd been feeling sluggish lately, tired all the time. And her doctor wasn't happy with her latest cholesterol numbers. Her LDL, the bad cholesterol, had spiked, and her blood pressure wasn't where it needed to be. Her doctor asked her about her diet. When Dorothy mentioned the cheese spread, the doctor raised an eyebrow. You see, what Dorothy didn't know is that most cheese spreads, those jars of cheddar dip or cream cheese spreads, are loaded with trans fats, additives, and hidden sugars. They're nothing like real cheese. They may look creamy and delicious, but behind that smooth texture is a whole bunch of ingredients that don't do your body any favors. Why is that a problem? Trans fats are known to raise your bad cholesterol and lower your good cholesterol. They increase inflammation in your body, which can lead to heart disease, diabetes, and even certain cancers. And those hidden sugars? They're not only bad for your waistline, they can mess with your blood sugar levels and spike your insulin, which over time leads to insulin resistance. The very things that you don't want to deal with as you get older. But here's the big mistake people make. They think, it's just a little dip. How bad can it be? But if you're eating these spreads regularly, those little dips add up, calorie-wise, fat-wise, and sodium-wise. So what should Dorothy, and you, do instead? Swap that jar for something real. You can use Greek yogurt as a base for a dip. It's rich in protein and lower in fat. Or even better, make an avocado-based spread. It's creamy, nutrient-dense, and full of healthy fats that actually support heart health. You can add herbs and spices like garlic, dill, or paprika to create something just as satisfying, but without all the additives. It's easy to make your own spreads, and it's healthier. Plus, it's a great way to incorporate good fats into your diet, which can help keep your cholesterol levels in check and support brain function. Dorothy switched from her beloved cheese spread to an avocado dip with Greek yogurt, and she started noticing a change. She felt lighter. Her energy came back. And most importantly, her cholesterol started dropping. Now, she's not just snacking smarter, she's also feeling smarter, and more confident about her choices. If you've been using those cheese spreads regularly, now's the time to switch. Take a look at the labels next time you're in the store, and you'll see just how many unnecessary chemicals and unhealthy fats are hiding in there. And if you're looking for something more natural and wholesome, remember, Greek yogurt and avocados can take you places that cheese spreads never could, without the guilt, without the regret, and with a whole lot more flavor. That's what real food can do. It supports your health, your body, and your well-being, just like it's supposed to. Now, I know we've talked about a lot of cheeses today, some you should embrace, and some you should walk away from. Small blue diamond Parmesan, freshly grated. If you've been around for a while, you know that cheese can be more than just a snack or a topping. It can be a secret weapon for your health, especially as you age. And that's exactly why Parmesan should make its way onto your list of go-to cheeses. But there's a little catch here. Carlos, a man in his early 70s, is a perfect example of why you need to embrace freshly grated Parmesan over the typical processed versions. Carlos loves his veggies, but for years, he found them a bit bland. He'd throw together some steamed broccoli or roasted carrots, but something was always missing. That's when his daughter introduced him to freshly grated Parmesan, and it completely changed his meals. Carlos started sprinkling fresh Parmesan on his vegetables, and the savory flavor brought them to life. It wasn't just about taste. The added cheese gave him an extra dose of calcium, a key nutrient that's essential for keeping bones strong and reducing the risk of fractures as you age. But that's not all. Parmesan is also incredibly low in lactose, making it a great choice for seniors who might struggle to digest dairy. It's nutrient-dense, which means that a little bit goes a long way. That's crucial, especially when you're watching your portion sizes. A sprinkle of Parmesan can give you a solid boost of calcium, protein, and essential vitamins, all without overwhelming your system with too much lactose or fat. Now, here's where the confusion happens. Not all Parmesan is created equal. The pre-packaged, powdery Parmesan you find on grocery store shelves can be deceiving. It might look like the real deal, but it's usually full of fillers, preservatives, and artificial additives, things that can make your meal less healthy than you think. So here's the mistake I see so many people make: they confuse processed Parmesan powder with the authentic, fresh, grated stuff. But if you want to reap all the benefits of Parmesan, freshly grated is the way to go. The difference between the real deal and the powdered version is huge. Freshly grated Parmesan is packed with flavor and nutrients, while the store-bought powder is often stripped of its nutritional value. Plus, you'll avoid the unnecessary ingredients in processed Parmesan. So, next time you're looking for that cheesy kick, grab a block of fresh Parmesan and break out the grater. You'll feel the difference in both taste and health benefits. Carlos swears by it now. He adds fresh Parmesan to everything from veggies to pasta dishes, and even to his morning eggs. The savory flavor is just the boost his meals need, and the health benefits are a nice bonus. And guess what? He feels more energized and confident about his meals, and his bones and joints thank him, too. So, let me give you a little advice: don't settle for the powdered stuff. Invest in some freshly grated Parmesan, and you'll get more out of your meals, both in flavor and in nutrition. It's an easy switch, and your body will thank you for it. Small blue diamond brie. You've probably had it at a dinner party or on a charcuterie board. It's soft, creamy, and smooth, and many people think it's a gentle option, especially when it comes to digestion. But that's not always the case, especially for seniors. Let me share the story of Anne, a woman who adored brie. Anne, a vibrant 68-year-old, loved entertaining friends and family. And brie was her go-to cheese. She'd spread it on crackers, pair it with fruit, and serve it at every gathering. To her, it was the epitome of elegant eating. But over time, Anne began noticing something troubling. After enjoying her favorite brie, she started feeling sluggish. Her joints would ache, and her energy levels would plummet. She couldn't pinpoint the cause at first, but soon, the pattern became clear. Every time she ate brie, her inflammation seemed to get worse, and fatigue would set in. Anne wasn't alone in this. Brie contains a significant amount of saturated fats, which can be tough on your body, especially as you age. Saturated fats are linked to increased cholesterol and inflammation, both of which are conditions you don't want to aggravate as you get older. For seniors, the body often struggles more to break down these fats, making them harder to process. And the more your body accumulates, the harder it becomes for your arteries to stay clear and your joints to remain flexible. But that's not all. Brie also contains mold, which is another issue. Mold is naturally present in certain cheeses, but it can be problematic for those with weakened immune systems, something to consider as we age. The mold in brie may trigger allergic reactions or worsen inflammation in those sensitive to it. Now, here's the common mistake I see a lot of people make. They believe that soft cheeses like brie are gentle on the gut because of their creamy texture. But just because a cheese is soft, it doesn't mean it's easy on the digestive system, especially for those with certain sensitivities. So what can you do if you're a brie lover but have noticed those negative effects on your body? It's time to substitute it with something better for you. Instead of brie, consider switching to fresh goat cheese or a part-skim cheese. Fresh goat cheese has a much lighter, tangier flavor, and it's also easier to digest for many people. It's a great option for seniors because it's lower in fat, and its unique protein structure is often less inflammatory. And part-skim cheeses, like part-skim ricotta or part-skim mozzarella, are just as creamy and delicious as brie, but they're much lower in fat and easier on your digestive system. They still deliver that rich, cheesy experience without all the heavy fats or mold content. And made the switch to fresh goat cheese in her meals. She found that it didn't trigger the same inflammatory response. Her energy levels improved, and her body felt lighter and less stiff. It didn't have that same brie-like creamy texture, but with a little seasoning or pairing with fruit, she found she could still enjoy her meals. So, here's the bottom line: brie might seem like an innocent, gourmet choice, but it's not always the best option for aging bodies. The high saturated fat content and the mold could be doing more harm than good, leading to inflammation and fatigue. But with a little knowledge, you can easily swap brie for cheeses that are just as delicious and much more senior-friendly. Small Blue Diamond Goat Cheese. Now, if you've never given goat cheese a try or you've been hesitant, you're not alone. Many people think of it as a bit too exotic, or they assume it's something they just can't stomach. But for many seniors, goat cheese is an absolute game changer. Let me tell you about Joseph. Joseph, a 75-year-old retiree, had always enjoyed cheese until one day, he started feeling unwell after eating his usual slices of cheddar or mozzarella. His stomach would get bloated, and he'd experience some pretty serious discomfort. He loved cheese, but his body just wasn't handling cow's milk-based varieties as well anymore. He thought it was just part of getting older. Until his daughter suggested he try goat cheese instead. Joseph was skeptical at first. He thought goat cheese would be too unfamiliar, too exotic for his taste buds. But, desperate for relief, he decided to give it a shot. And boy, was he surprised. Not only did his stomach feel lighter, but he also noticed a reduction in inflammation, his joints didn't ache as much, and he wasn't experiencing that bloated feeling anymore. It turns out that goat cheese has a few unique qualities that make it much easier to digest than its cow's milk counterparts. For one, goat cheese is lower in lactose, which is great news for seniors who may have developed a sensitivity to dairy. Many of us, as we age, find that our bodies become less tolerant of lactose, which can cause digestive issues like gas, bloating, and cramps. But with goat cheese, the lactose content is much lower, making it a friendlier option for those with lactose intolerance. But that's not all. Goat cheese is naturally anti-inflammatory, which means it can help reduce swelling and joint pain, something many seniors struggle with. It's also packed with healthy fats and proteins, making it a great addition to any meal, especially if you're looking for a boost in nutrition without overloading on calories or fat. Now, the common mistake many people make when it comes to goat cheese is assuming it's too fancy or unfamiliar, too outside their comfort zone. It's easy to overlook it in favor of the usual mozzarella, cheddar, or American slices. But I'm here to tell you that goat cheese doesn't have to be intimidating. It has a distinct tangy flavor that pairs beautifully with a wide variety of dishes. For example, you can crumble goat cheese into salads, where it adds a creamy, rich texture and a sharp flavor that complements the freshness of leafy greens. Or, you can spread it on whole grain toast for a satisfying, nutrient-packed snack. The creamy texture of goat cheese makes it the perfect spread, and when combined with the fiber-rich whole grains, it creates a balanced and fulfilling meal or snack. You could even pair it with some fresh berries for a unique sweet and savory combo. And here's the thing, goat cheese isn't just a novelty. It's a nourishing and digestive-friendly option that can make a world of difference, especially for seniors who are seeking healthier, more sustainable ways to enjoy their favorite foods. Joseph found his relief in goat cheese, and now he can enjoy cheese again without the discomfort. He's not only eating a cheese that works with his body, but he's also making choices that support his overall health. And let me tell you, that's exactly the kind of change we all need as we age. So, if you've been skipping over goat cheese or writing it off as too weird, I encourage you to give it a try. It might just become your new favorite. Small blue diamond flavored or smoked cheeses. These cheeses seem to offer something extra, don't they? They're exciting, with unique flavors, like smoked Gouda or garlic and herb-infused cheddar, promising that extra kick to your taste buds. But here's the thing. Not all that glitters is gold, especially when it comes to some of these cheeses. Let me tell you about Tina, a woman who, like many of us, loved trying new flavors. Tina was in her late 60s and loved indulging in a good cheese plate. Her favorite? Smoked Gouda. She'd enjoy it with crackers, in sandwiches, or even paired with fruit. But over time, Tina began noticing something troubling. She was getting frequent headaches, and she couldn't figure out why. At first, she thought it was just stress or maybe a lack of sleep. But when the headaches persisted, Tina started paying more attention to her diet, and that's when she realized something strange. Every time she ate her beloved smoked Gouda, the headaches seemed to get worse. Confused and a little concerned, Tina did some research and learned that the smoke flavoring in these cheeses wasn't actual smoke, it was added through chemicals and artificial flavorings. Plus, these cheeses often contain preservatives and artificial coloring, all of which can mess with your body, especially as you age. Tina didn't realize it at first, but those chemicals and additives were likely triggering her headaches. Over time, they can accumulate in the body, leading to all sorts of issues, from digestive distress to neurological problems like headaches or brain fog. Now, the mistake that many people make when it comes to flavored or smoked cheeses is assuming that because they're flavored, they're just fun, right? They think it's a treat, something special to enjoy, but they don't realize what's actually in it. They think, it's just a little flavor, how bad could it be? But those additives and chemicals can add up, and they can be particularly harmful when the body is less capable of processing them as we age. So, what can you do instead? Here's the advice: stick to naturally aged or unflavored cheeses. These cheeses are made the traditional way, without artificial additives or flavorings. Think of cheeses like aged cheddar, parmesan, or gruyere. These have been naturally aged and are full of rich, deep flavors, but without the harmful chemicals that come with smoked or flavored options. These types of cheeses are not only more digestive friendly, but they also support your body's natural processes, without the added artificial ingredients that can cause problems down the line. For Tina, the switch was life-changing. After cutting out the smoked Gouda, she noticed a significant reduction in her headaches. It wasn't an overnight fix, but over the course of a few weeks, she felt clearer and more energized. Now, she enjoys naturally aged cheeses, and her meals still have that satisfying, rich flavor, without the chemical side effects. So, if you've been reaching for those flavored cheeses with the promise of something fun, I urge you to reconsider. The flavor might be tempting, but the added chemicals are doing more harm than good, especially as we age. Stick to the natural stuff. Your body will thank you. Cheese is comfort food, isn't it? It's more than just a snack or a meal. It's a part of so many cherished memories. The warm feeling of sitting at the dinner table with loved ones, enjoying a creamy slice of cheese with crackers, or perhaps having that extra sprinkle on top of a bowl of pasta. It brings back memories, traditions, and pure joy. Cheese has always been a source of comfort. But as we age, the reality is that not all comfort foods are safe. The things that once brought us that familiar joy can sometimes be harder on our bodies than we realize. As you're listening to this, you might be thinking, wait, does this mean I have to give up cheese altogether? Absolutely not. This isn't about saying goodbye to your favorite foods, it's about being smarter with your choices so you can continue enjoying life's little pleasures without putting your health at risk. It's about making small changes, simple swaps, that can have a big impact. Choosing healthier cheeses that support your heart, digestion, and overall well-being isn't about restriction. It's about empowerment. It's about being able to sit at the table with your family, enjoy that delicious meal, and know you're making the best choices for your health. Think about it, just because something is familiar doesn't mean it's the right choice for you anymore. You don't have to let your love for cheese go, but you can take a step back and evaluate which cheeses truly serve your body. The next time you reach for that smoked Gouda or that processed cheese slice, you'll know exactly what's at stake, and you'll be prepared to make a better choice. So here's a little challenge for you. Go to your fridge after this video. Take a look at the cheese you have in there right now. Check the labels. What do they contain? Is it packed with preservatives, artificial chemicals, and excess sodium? Then, try swapping one of those cheeses you should never touch for a better alternative this week. Maybe you swap your processed cheese slices for fresh mozzarella, or your blue cheese for part-skim ricotta. It's a small step, but it's a step toward feeling better, living better, and enjoying life more. And let me reassure you, these changes don't have to be overwhelming. It's about taking things one step at a time. You don't need to overhaul your entire diet in one go. With just a few small changes, you'll be on your way to protecting your heart, easing your digestion, and still enjoying the flavors you love. The beauty is, you don't have to say goodbye to the joy that cheese brings you. You just need to make sure it's the kind that supports your health, rather than working against.